Happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a wonderful week and enjoying yourself. The weather is warming up. It's always so hot here in California. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know for those of you who don't live here, it's starting to warm up, and that's exciting. Summer's coming, yay! So today's question is something I haven't talked about in probably a year or more, and this topic is excessive exercise. Dum da dum dum. And so the question says, I would love it if you could talk more about excessive exercise and the need to keep increasing it. Why would we want to do this? It would be helpful to hear it from your perspective. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is really defining what excessive exercise is. And I know those of you out there with an eating disorder that involves exercise, you're going to hate me a little during this video, and I don't apologize. But excessive exercise to me, and I know that different clinicians will have different ways of verbalizing it, but overall, excessive exercise is exercise that impairs your ability to live your life. Does that make sense? What I mean is, let's say I'm gonna go out with my friends for dinner. I haven't seen them in a while and I'm so excited. But I had an extra meeting come up. I had a call that ran over. My sessions with my clients just ran over and somebody had an emergency one pop up and I couldn't get my exercise in. Cue horror music. Ooh. And so instead of a normal exerciser saying, oh, that's okay, I'll just work out tomorrow or whatever, I'll go for a walk later, that's fine, whatever, no biggie. An excessive exerciser will cancel the plans with their friends to go exercise. They will do anything to make an excuse to exercise. And so that is what excessive is. It impairs your ability to just live your life and enjoy things. Exercise is compulsory. You have to do it. It's not something that you get to choose or enjoy, okay? That's just my definition. If you disagree, let me know what your definition is below. So the question that she's asking is, why do we want to keep increasing it? And the truth of it is that eating disorders and OCD, they're like best buddies. And often in the therapy world, people struggle to diagnose both separately because they're often all part of the same thing. Part of the what we call differential diagnosis, how do you decide what to diagnose someone with, is recognizing, does the OCD component only apply to eating disorder behaviors? And so because it's such a component, right, it's even in the DSM, like if it's part of the eating disorder, the OCD stuff is part of the eating disorder, we don't give them a diagnosis of OCD on its own. Is that clear? So, okay, we've separated those out. So because that is so well known to be a problem with eating disorders, you can see this compulsion to exercise and the obsessions that come from our eating disorder voice, just FYI, those all come from your eating disorder voice, lead us to create bizarre calculations. Okay, well, I ate blankety blankety blank, so I have to do blankety blankety blank. Oh, well, now I had to go to this birthday party, heaven forbid, and I had a piece of cake or I did something out of my regular schedule. Now I have to add on this and this and this. And here comes the really screwed up part, and why eating disorder voices are so fucking nasty is we can't ever take that back. I've had clients who have like all these things they have to do exercise-wise every day because once you add something on, oftentimes you can't take it off. And so the list of things and the numbers of hours just increases until it becomes excessive and it impairs your ability to live your life. And so that's where it comes from, that little OCD part of our eating disorder, that little nasty voice that like nags us and is like, get up. You're lazy, you're stupid. And that's why, as horribly annoying as it is, my first task in my free eating disorder workbook available on my website for download whenever. If you've had trouble getting it, let me know and I can shoot you an email out with a PDF file of it. I know some people have had trouble downloading it. So the first task in that workbook is talking back to that eating disorder voice. And that's why I talk about it all the time, because otherwise it keeps adding all these things on. And we feel in that OCD type brain that if we don't do it, something terrible is going to happen. I'm going to get fat. Usually that's the number one thing with eating disorders, but it could be like, I'm going to get fat, or, you know, my pants aren't going to fit. People are going to think I'm lazy. I'm going to think I'm lazy. I deserve the punishment. I'm trying to think of other things that patients could have told me, but those are all the ones I hear the most, okay? And so we're going to have to fight back against that voice. And trust me, if we don't act out a couple times, right? We think about it, okay, I recognize this is my eating disorder voice. I talk back to it until that voice gets a little bit quieter and I don't do all the exercise it told me to do. Then you'll slowly start to have these little aha moments where you're like, wow, nothing terrible happened. I didn't get fat overnight. The eating disorder's been telling me that's gonna happen forever. And it lies. Let me tell you, that eating disorder fucking lies. So that's why we keep adding up and trying to exercise more, is because of that part of the eating disorder that always pushes us to do more. And trust me, hear me out. Somebody should create a GIF of this. The eating disorder will never be happy. You can never do enough, okay? So please start talking back to it. Please start talking to a therapist and a dietitian. We can help you so much with managing exercise and over-exercise, because in all honesty, it's so scary. It's so hard on your body and your heart, and it just gives me all the worries. So please take care of yourself. Please reach out. And like I said, check out my eating disorder workbook on my website. It's free. And if you're new, click here to subscribe. If you want more information about stuff like this, click over here, and I will see you next time. Bye.